everybody, how you doing? I hope you're having a nice day so far. So today I'm making this video and I want to talk about signs from the universe and signs from our angels and how to receive those signs. I truly believe that the universe communicates with us, and our angels communicate with us through lots of different things depending on what it is that we probably pay more attention to. For some of us, it may be through music. You may be thinking something and then it just happens to be said in a song. Sometimes it's through other people. Sometimes you're thinking something and then somebody just says something to you, walk by and then it's like, oh, that's exactly what I was thinking. Could be a commercial that comes on, could be a billboard you were thinking and driving and you saw something. Lots of different ways, depending on who you are, what you pay attention to. For me, it's been a lot of number synchronicities, and now it's starting to be a lot of other things, birds and different things like that. The thing that made me want to make this video, though, is because the last video I made, which was called My Kundalini Awakening Symptoms, I was sharing that, and in that video, I was going home and I was going to edit the video because an ant bit me on my foot during the video, and I was like, oh, let me just clip that little part out of the video. That's what I decided to do. So I go home and I'm getting ready to go edit it, and then I realized that the time for the video was 22 minutes and 22 seconds. So I was like, oh no, I can't. I just gotta leave that, have to leave the ant bite and everything in it. I'm gonna leave it alone because that was just like, wow. 22, if you see, the name of this channel is called Divine Harmony 22. That's a number that has always been in my life and I've noticed a lot. And at first I didn't look at it as a sign from my angels or from the universe. It was just kind of like, I ignored it. And I don't want you guys to do that. I don't want you guys to do what I did, because it took me a long time to really get to where now I am taking these signs for what they are. And before, it was like either I ignored it, it was a coincidence, or it was just my lucky number or something like that. But now I realize it's much deeper than that. So the video, once I uploaded that video that I made, the time changed to a second longer. It turned to instead of 22 minutes and 22 seconds, it turned to 22 minutes and 23 seconds. So I wasn't sure why it changed, but later that day I was leaving a parking lot and there was a work truck coming down, and I'm waiting for him to pass, but he stopped to let me pass. And then I looked at his truck, and on the side of it, it's like maybe the number of the truck, the work truck number, it was 2223. So I'm like, oh wow, that was the number that my video turned to when I uploaded it. So once I looked up that number, 2223, it seems like I got a message from that, which made me, I use my intuition. Like I said, I feel like I'm being more intuitive these days. And it made me realize that that was kind of almost like, I feel like with the meaning of the number was kind of like, good job or congratulations, like we're here with you, keep doing what you're doing, something like that. And I feel like it was a message to me because I was hesitant about that video due to the fact that I spoke about psychic abilities and what I've been thinking that may be coming into my life after a full Kundalini awakening. I know people think negative things about psychic abilities, and that's kind of like something I didn't really want to talk about, but I just went ahead and talked about it anyway. And I feel almost like that was a congratulations to me, like, good job. It's good that you spoke your truth. Just go ahead and say things and don't be afraid to share what you're experiencing. So aside from that, the number 22, back in March is when 22, that number really just made itself known in my life and just made me wake up like big time. We moved from Miami here, and we were in the room. I was in the room laying in the bed at night getting ready to go to sleep with the hubby. I said, you know what, we got to transfer some money from the saving to the checking because we just moved. We bought a lot of things and we needed to get some more stuff. So I transferred about maybe $650, something like that, from the savings to add it to the checking account. And what landed in the checking account was $2,222.22. And that was just like, wow. It was, to me, it almost felt like it just kind of like a scary feeling, like something was just like, pay attention, like I need you to like pay attention to me, like we're trying to talk to you here. And it was just like, oh my God, this is just not a lucky number. I really need to look this up and find out what this is all about. And as I started looking it up and really believing and accepting that this was like a message from the universe for me to start paying attention to maybe more numbers, it really started making me really understand and realize how the universe and my angels have been with me all along. For one, my birthday is October 22nd. I had my first daughter when I was 22 years old. I grew up in Opelika, and my address was 13115 22nd Court. And then behind my dad's house in the back was a busy avenue, and that was 22nd Avenue. So then I started just really start paying attention and thinking about these numbers and where they have been and what they mean. And I would look it up, and it would tell me lots of different things about things that I should be doing. I would get like a lot of messages about what I should be doing and what should I, what my life should be like and what to do next. And I then started noticing and paying attention to all of the other numbers that have been a part of my life that I had not even been noticing. My life path number is 11. If you want to find your life path number, you can Google it. It'll find a way. It'll show you how to calculate it. You calculate your whole birthday, the month, day, year, and all of those numbers, whatever they add up to. Whatever it is, you make it to a single number. So if you add up everything and it turns to 35, what you're going to do is add 3 and 5, and that would be your life path number would be 8. The only numbers that you don't add together would be the master numbers, which is 11, 22, and 33. You leave those as what they are. 11 is the most intuitive number. That's my life path number, like the old soul. 22 is the master builder, and 33 is the master teacher. And those numbers, if that's your life path number, you keep that the way it is. You don't add those 2 digits together. You leave those the way they are. Now 11, my dad's address was 13115 on 22nd Court, but when you add the 13115 together, that's 11. The next address I lived was with my older brother, and his address was 731 on 17th Street, and 731, when you add that together, that's 11. The next address I lived with my sister. Me and my sister got this apartment downtown in Miami, and it was 1104 on 6th Street. And so we lived on the 11th floor. So there's the 11 again. Now, when it gets crazy is the last address I lived at before moving from Miami to Kissimmee in North Miami. This address was 236 Northeast 111th Street. So you got 111. But then even when you add the 236, that's 11. So then when I started thinking back on that, it was just like, oh my goodness, like this, the universe, my angels have been trying to get my attention for so long, and I just have not been paying any attention to this. And I really want you guys to learn from me, because I feel like I blocked myself from figuring out things a long time ago by just looking at these things as just a coincidence, and really is not a coincidence. That same day that I left, when I just made that video about the Kundalini symptoms, when I was leaving, or actually when I picked my daughters up and was heading home, a hawk flew down in front of my car and flew to the side. My daughter's like, Mom, look, it's a bird. And I'm like, oh, that's my friend. That's the same hawk, I believe, that has come to the house. I mean, it's around the corner from the house. It's the same color. It has to be the same bird. Because one day we were at the house, my hubby came out to help me with some things, and the hawk was sitting on our roof, on the edge of the roof, and it's really pretty, interesting color feathers. And then also probably a week later, I was going through, with this whole awakening process, I was going through a really emotional, a down period where I wasn't feeling really good. I got off of work early, I went home, and it was raining a little bit, so I'm sitting out in the car, in the garage, not in the garage, in the driveway, just waiting for the rain to kind of stop. And here comes the hawk. It flies down directly across the street in front of me and flies up on the line. And it was at this moment where I was just feeling a certain type of way, and I feel like I just felt a little better when I saw it. It almost felt like it was this kind of just a sign, you'll be okay, everything's gonna be okay. It was strange to me. as well as the day that I had looked up, the day that I had kept seeing all of this information about psychic abilities. And it made me think back on when I was a younger girl, 14, 15, and I called the psychic hotline and got in trouble with my dad and ran up the phone bill. The day that I thought, I was like, I wonder if that my subconscious was telling me that, I may have latent psychic abilities, and that's the reason why I was, kind of like fascinated with them when I was younger and stuff. And I'm like, wow, I wonder if that means something. That same day, I picked my daughter up from school so I could take her to an interview, and the hawk came to our house, like flew down right by our house. It's like, oh my goodness. It's like at certain days I see it. And so, the other day when I saw it and I was with my daughter, it's like a lot of times you look at these things, it's always just a coincidence, but it flew down in the street. I'm driving and it flew across in front of my car as I was driving. So it's like, you can't sometimes just write all these things off as a coincidence. I feel like the more you do that, the more you disconnect yourself from the universe and from your angels, and they don't give you more messages. You don't get in alignment with them because you are basically taking what they give you, and you're just like, well, maybe it only happened because of this, or maybe it was because of that. You don't take it as a actual sign, and therefore you don't get more signs. So I think the main way to receive these signs is just to accept them as signs. Don't block them out. Don't make them into coincidences. Like, accept them for what they are. Be grateful and thank the universe for it. And I think it lines you up with the universe. And then you start to get things that are just obviously like, they're signs from the universe. For example, in July, I was leaving the house in the morning, and the kids were out for summer, but the little one was still in daycare. So I'm leaving with her to take her to daycare. And I get up in the morning, and because it was 7/22 was the date, and I always see 77s because that's the year I was born, and then I see 22s a lot, my birthday. I thought that day when I got up, like, today something interesting is going to happen today, because it just so happens that it's the 22nd, and then it's the 7th month. Like, I think something's going to happen. So I'm leaving out the house with my daughter. I put her in the car, and I'm walking around to go get in my side of the car, and something told me to look up. I look up, and there's a beautiful big white owl sitting on the pole in front of my house. This is 8:30 in the morning. The last time I saw an owl in Miami, it was nighttime, and it was like hunting out there. And that I didn't pay that any attention at that time. But when I saw that owl that morning, something was just like, is that a sign? Like, wow, that's interesting. As far as something interesting happening today because it's the 22nd of July, like wow. And then as I started thinking about it and looking up the signs of what it means when you see an owl, it talked about discernment, and it talked about change coming, or changes are happening, or a new beginning, or wisdom and things like that. And then it made me just automatically, oh my goodness, the owl that came by in Miami, that was before we moved. So that was like a sign of a change that came. So that was really interesting. It was just like, wow. And I didn't think anything of it at the time that we saw the owl. We also found that a feather from that owl in Miami before we even saw the owl. So all of that was just really interesting to me. And it just made me pay attention after seeing that owl here. It just made me look for more signs and understand what it all means. And that it means more than what I think it does. So I feel like, you have to accept these signs, acknowledge them for what they are, and you get more. More and more signs will come to you the more you pay attention, the more you accept these things that you see, and just don't brush them off, because they do mean something. The other day, that same day I made the video, the Kundalini video, I was at around 5 something at the house with the kids, and I decided to step out into the garage because sometimes I step outside and just look in the sky, and I thank my angels and thank the universe for all of the good things that have been happening, this whole awakening process, everything. And I step out to be thankful. And I went and I sat on the workout bench, and I'm sitting there and I'm like thanking, and then all of a sudden I felt like I had to use the bathroom. So I got up and I'm heading to the door to go in, but I didn't really want to go in yet, but it felt like I didn't have to use the bathroom anymore. It was like the feeling was coming and going. Like, do I have to go or not? And I'm standing there and I look down and there's a little white feather in the garage. And I just picked it up and I was just like put a smile on my face, like, wow. And then suddenly I didn't have to use the bathroom. So I almost felt like, was that my angels like saying you're welcome, or we're here with you? So it's like it made me feel like I had to use the bathroom right while I was saying thank you. And then as soon as I get up to walk, it's like I felt like I don't have to go. Like, do I have to go? Do I not? It just made me stand in this spot. And I look down and there's a little feather in the garage. Now, you could always look at that as a coincidence. I choose not to. I mean, when you really think about it, it's a little white feather sitting in the middle of my garage. It's not as though I was standing in the yard and there was a bunch of feathers laying around. There's no feathers around. It's one little feather in my garage. So the wind just sent a little feather in my garage, and I'm gonna, at the moment and the way that I find it and see it, right when what I was doing was thanking my angels and thanking the universe, I'm gonna look at that as just a coincidence. No, I choose not to. And I feel like more and more I get a lot of signs, I get a lot of information. I feel like it's like when you decide to accept it as a sign and connect, you just get more things happen for you during the awakening process. It's almost like you are believing in us, you are trusting in us, so we're going to give you more. We're going to show you more, and we're going to make magical things happen in your life. So I just want to share that because I think that that'll help a lot of us to just don't ignore it, don't brush it off, don't make it seem like it's nothing. Accept it for what it is, because it's definitely your angels, it's definitely the universe, and your connection with them that's going to strengthen, everything that happens in your life. So just trust and believe. And I feel like you'll be guided in the right direction. That's really all I want to talk about in this video, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and share and all that good stuff, and have a wonderful day, everybody.